Okay, final exam review. Number 1, negative m minus m. So you have to write down everything I write down. Negative m minus m. Just knowing the answer isn't the same thing as showing how you know the answer. So I like to add the ones. So I'm taking 1m away from negative 1m. If I have a negative balance in my bank account of $1, negative $1, and I spend another dollar on a debit card and overdraft the account further, I'll have negative $2. So this equals negative 2m. Number 2, negative 5v minus v. Again, it will help you put that 1 there. So you're taking 1 away from negative 5, so it's going to be a bigger negative. It's going to be negative 6v. So far, this doesn't require a ton of work. Number 3, let's see what that looks like. So you got to rewrite the whole problem. Negative 10, open parentheses, 3v minus 2. You have to use distributive property. We're going to actually distribute the whole negative 10. This is going to look real easy and simple right now, but there's future problems where knowing that you always include the sign when you distribute will become important. So I think we can still keep this on one line. Negative 10 times 3v is negative 30v. Negative 10 times negative 2 is positive 20. Okay, negative 9, open parentheses, x minus 1. Once again, we're going to distribute the negative 9, the whole thing. Negative 9 times x is negative 9x. Negative 9 times negative 1 is positive 9. Okay, things are starting to heat up a little bit. I'm going to erase what's on the board so I have room. Remember, it's being recorded. You need to go back and look at it. I'm just taking a moment here to write this down. This is number 7. Okay, so first step is to distribute the negative 7 and then combine like terms. Remember, I'm distributing the entire negative 7. So negative 7 times negative 2m, here we're going to need a second line. This is positive 14m. Negative 7 times 5, negative 35. And then we just bring the minus 6 down. We have two like terms. We have negative 35 and negative 6, so those will combine. So our final simplified expression will be 14m minus 41. Your you're taking 6 away from negative 35. Number 6 says 10 minus 2, open parentheses, 2n minus 1. This is where the parentheses around what you're going to distribute becomes crucial. So you're going to distribute the negative 2. We're going to distribute negative 2. So the 10 just gets written like this, equals 10. And then we see what we're going to do. Negative 2 times 2n is negative 4n. So this is going to be 10 minus 4n. Negative 2 times negative 1 is positive 2. Now we're going to combine like terms. The like terms are 10 and 2. That's 12. So this equals 12 minus 4n. And we see things are getting a little bit more complicated here with number 7. So take a moment to go ahead and write that down. Write small, because there's going to be a substantial amount of work to do. Okay, we're going to do a little surgery on this before we begin, a little prep work. We're going to put parentheses around these terms, and then anywhere we see an r by itself, we're going to put a 1. Okay. So we're going to start by distributing the terms that are to the left of these parentheses. We're going to distribute twice. Negative 2r times 9 is negative 18r. Negative 2r times positive 2r. First we'll multiply negative 2 times positive 2. That gives negative 4. And then remember the product rule for exponents. If I have r to the first times r to the first, which I do, that's r raised to the power of the sum of the exponents. So that's r times r is r squared, or r to the power of 2. Same thing happens here. I've got negative 2r times 1r. So negative 2 times 1 is negative 2. So minus 2. And then r times r is r squared. Negative 2r squared. Now I multiply negative 2r times negative 10. So that's going to be positive 20r. Combine like terms. So there's 2 different like terms. We have negative 18r and positive 20r. But we also have negative 4r squared and negative 2r squared. So they're going to combine with what they are like. So we'll do the r's first. Negative 18r plus 20r is positive 2r. We'll just write 2r. And then negative 4r squared, take away 2r squared, becomes negative 6r squared. see if I can fit 8 here. Negative x, open parentheses, x plus 1, close parentheses, minus 10x, open parentheses, 1 plus x, close parentheses. So, a little surgery. Everywhere I see an x by itself, I'm going to put that 1 there in front of it. Helps me avoid confusion. And then I'm going to place parentheses around the negative 1x and around the negative 10x. So I know I'm distributing that whole term. So double distribute here and here, here and here. So negative 1 times 1 equals negative 1. X times x is x squared. Negative 1x times 1 is minus 1x. Negative 10x times 1 is negative 10x. Negative 10x times 1x is negative 10x squared. So now we combine like terms. I've got these squared terms here at the beginning and the end. And then I've got these x terms here in the middle. Okay. So negative 1x squared minus 10x squared is negative 11x squared. Negative 1x minus 10x is negative 11x. And that's it. It's fully simplified. Finally, something new, something fun, something we just learned yesterday. Distance formula. Just 2 more. Okay. So for number 9, we need to write down these coordinates, negative 2, comma, negative 8. And 5, comma, negative 5. We need to write down the distance formula. Distance d equals the square root of the sum of the squared differences of the x and y values. Okay. And so now we have to label our points. x1, y1, x2, y2. We just have to plug them in. So d equals the square root of, open parentheses, x2 is 5, minus x1, which is negative 2. So you're going to have 2 negative signs right there. Close parentheses, squared, plus, open parentheses, y2 is negative 5, minus y1, which is negative 8. So minus negative 8. So another double negative there. Close that parentheses, squared, and huge radical bar above the top. So now we're just going to continue simplifying what we see here. This is arithmetic at this point. 5 minus negative 2 is the same thing as 5 plus 2. So this is 7 squared plus negative 5 plus 8 gives positive 3. So this is 3 squared. 7 squared plus 3 squared. And you can't add these because the bases are different. So we actually have to find out what 7 times 7 is. That's 49. And 3 times 3 is 9, so 49 plus 9. So now we're down to just the square root of 49 plus 9, which equals the square root of 58. And for this problem, that's all they want. They don't want you to find a decimal approximation or anything. Okay. Let's take a look here at number 10. It'll be the last problem for today. Seven comma 1 and 6 comma 6. Okay, so for number 10, we're going to find the distance between 7 comma 1 and 6 comma 6. First, we write the distance formula. D equals the square root of the sum of the squared differences of the x and y values. Okay, it really helps, instead of trying to memorize the formula, to memorize it like I said. The square root of the sum of the squared differences of the x and y values. So now we label our points. x1, y1, x2, y2. And we just play a game of plug it in. D equals the square root, open parentheses, x2 is 6, minus x1, which is 7, and that's squared, plus y2 is 6, minus y1, which is 1, squared. Big root bar on top. Sounds like a math candy, root bar. So this is the square root of 6 minus 7 is negative 1. So I have in parentheses negative 1, the whole thing squared, plus 6 minus 1 is 5, plus 5 squared. Squaring any negative number makes it positive. So D equals the square root of negative 1 squared is positive 1. 5 squared is 25, so 1 plus 25 equals the square root of 26. And that's all they want. And that gets you through the first 10 questions.